When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Goblin YouTube channel. Today's video is not a video that I wanted to make. It's not a video that I was hoping was going to come out of House of the Dragon Season 2, but as if you've watched this channel, you know I was not a big fan of the finale. I think there was a lot of issues that really destroyed some of the season. I think the season up to the finale was around like an 8 out of 10 area, and I think the finale just completely destroyed multiple characters. And today I wanted to talk about Daemon. I think I'm going to make a video on Alicent as well going on in the future, but Daemon to me is the one that we needed to talk about first because I think his is the most blatant in terms of destroying a character. But what we saw in episode 8 was Daemon has this vision through basically the Weirwood net, and he sees visions of Daenerys, he sees the White Walkers, he sees all these different type of things. He even sees Helena somehow in this vision, which is really weird given that that is not really how it works in the book. And that kind of turns Daemon to that being the reason that he goes for Rhaenyra. And so we got to talk about that and why that doesn't make any sense, why it destroys Daemon's character. But before we do, if you did want to become a member or a Patreon, you do get videos early. As soon as I upload them to YouTube, you get them. So I usually upload a lot of my videos earlier on in the week, so you get those all early before everybody else does. And also I do exclusive videos each week for Patreons and members. But thank you to those people, and let's get into the video. So let's kind of take a look at where we started with the character of Daemon in Season 2. The character of Daemon going into Season 2 was the main villain of the series. Right now, Daemon in Season 1, he was the major villain. He was the one doing all of the bad actions. He was by far the villain of the Season 1. So you head into Season 2, he's with Rhaenyra, and the thing that instantly comes to the forefront is, who does Daemon truly follow, right? Is he going to become king himself? Does he follow Rhaenyra? And so it kind of leads to some stuff where he messes up and does blood and cheese. That causes the breakup of Rhaenyra and Daemon. And Daemon is basically having to figure out what is he going to do, right? Like, it's very much a season where there was a lot of self-reflection about should he become king, right? Or should he back Rhaenyra and his relationship with her? You know, what did he do in Season 1 that was so detrimental? You know, grooming Rhaenyra, how he wasn't there for Viserys, how he was, you know, power hungry and trying to gain the throne, all these things. And all of that came to the forefront each and every week. Some people didn't like that. I personally loved Daemon's character arc until like episode 7 and or 8. And so why is that such a big issue? Well, if you think about where that was building up to, right? Because Daemon's arc was completely build up and character evaluation. That's what his entire arc was about. It didn't have a lot of plot relevance in terms of what was going on. Like, yes, he was related to the Riverland plot, but he didn't really have that much of an influence in it. If you think about the Bracken and Blackwood conflict, that was going to continue regardless of if Daemon like told Willem Blackwood to continue doing those things. That would have occurred regardless. And so when you're thinking about all these things, it's more like Oscar Tully takes responsibility in gathering everybody around for Daemon, not Daemon himself. And by the time you get to the finale, well, you're sitting here and you're going, okay, well, there needs to be some sort of payoff or revelation to give Daemon's character to fix that character arc, where who is he going to support, Rhaenyra or, you know, himself, and kind of on that track of becoming a better person. He cannot be redeemed. He's done too many horrible actions, but becoming a better man and taking those steps to do so. And so what we needed to see in this last episode was Daemon figuring that out, you know, coming back to Rhaenyra and bending to the knee because of all the experiences that he's gone through throughout the season and how that changed him and evolved him as a person. Well, that didn't happen. We see Daemon, even when he's talking with Arthur Broom, like, he is still the character of episode 2, of episode 3. He is still considering being king. He is still, it seems like, leaning towards not going with Rhaenyra. And so what does that change then, right? If he's the same character from episode 2 or 3, what's the thing that changes him? They have it be this vision, telling Daemon that he has this fate or role to play, showing him the White Walkers, Bloodraven, all these things. And it makes Daemon become one of these characters where he can't control his fate anymore. He has a role to play. And it goes against every single thing that George R.R. Martin has ever written about fate, about how you can change your future and all that. And it takes a character in Daemon who was very much against that. Daemon was somebody that always wanted self-control, the ability to control his own actions and things like that. One of the reasons he goes away from Rhaenyra. And so when you take a character and shift him in one scene, it fundamentally broke the character. Because now I'm sitting here looking at Daemon as I thought he was the best character arc and best plot line of season 2 up until the very end. You destroyed it. Because what should have happened to have a natural character development sequence is you have Daemon building up throughout the whole season, and eventually, because of a combination of all these visions, all these things growing, his conversations with Alice Rivers, he should have come to the point where he backs Rhaenyra because he knows that's the right thing to do and what he should have been doing to begin with. He should have had that character arc. And you could have even seen it with the conversation that he has with Brune, is you could have had him like talking to the character and saying, no, I'm going to back Rhaenyra because that is the person that Viserys chose to be his successor. But they didn't do that. So they completely discounted everything that came before and made it happen with this really, really stupid vision sequence by Daemon. It completely broke the character. It destroyed any semblance of what that character was in Fire and Blood, why he is George R. R. Martin's favorite character, because he's that morally gray character. And everything in this season was building that character, and they threw it away in about 2 seconds. Because now we get him bending the knee to Rhaenyra, not because of his own character development, because of this role he has to play, because of this thing that's going to happen in the future, this threat of the others. Hearing Daemon say winter is coming was one of the worst things I've ever seen in this show and also Game of Thrones. It was a complete character assassination. I don't know if the writers of House of the Dragon just hate Daemon as a character, because in season 1, they made him the villain. They gave him every single bad option. It felt like a playthrough of I don't know, think about Dragon Age, if anyone's played that, and you just pick all the bad options. That's what it felt like in season 1, and I started to give them credit. I was like, okay, well, maybe in season 2, based upon where they were going, they were trying to do a character evaluation based off of the stuff they did in season 1 to kind of fix those issues and make him more morally complex. And then they threw that away as well. And so I'm left to sit here and go, everything that was coming out about Daemon in season 1, but from the writers, was they didn't like the character. They did not expect people to like the character. I'm just sitting here going, do they just hate Daemon? He is by far now, 2 seasons in a row, one of the worst characters on the show. At least in season 1, he was entertaining to watch. He was someone that you never knew what to quite expect from him. And maybe I hated the depiction because they leaned into every one of the bad things that he possibly could have done that's even rumored in the book. At least he was entertaining to watch. In this season, he wasn't entertaining to watch at any point. It was a character evaluation that solely was based upon how the conclusion worked, and they fumbled it pretty badly. This character cannot be fixed in the next coming seasons. This is a character I don't want to see on screen anymore. He is broken. Daemon is one of my favorite characters, and not just in Fire and Blood, but in A Song of Ice and Fire as a whole. And they somehow pissed away that beautiful character that they could have had. Daemon is in a lot of ways like Jaime from the normal story. He's a very complex and multi-layered character, and they didn't do that at all. They made the character a shell of what he could have been. And this is one of the many reasons I don't like the finale, especially I don't like this season as a whole, because Daemon was not the only character that got assassinated in the finale. We also have other characters. Alicent, I think, is the second most assassinated character in this episode. But not only that, I think Rhaenyra also, almost similarly, is not been assassinated yet, but is almost completely destroyed by this show and this season. This season is so frustrating to talk about because they had so many easy things they could have done. So many layers to characters they could have built, but they threw it away. And for what? So we could see the White Walkers again. We could have this cheap connection to Game of Thrones. Most people don't like Game of Thrones anymore. If you haven't realized, HBO, Game of Thrones has one of the worst endings of all time. Why would I want to think about the White Walkers who got killed by Arya because she was screaming and jumping from a rooftop or something? I just can't fathom why HBO keeps doing this. But yeah, we got a little off the rolls at the end of the video. As you guys can tell, I'm very passionate about the characters they're adapting, and I was very passionate about House of the Dragon. I'm no longer very passionate about House of the Dragon. Let me know what you guys think about Daemon in this season, and let me know which character you'd like me to talk about. About how season 2 has affected them. I have plans on doing Alicent and probably another Rhaenyra. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.